Breaking news. Quez Watkins will not be back with the Eagles. And we have to ask the honest question. Have the Eagles done enough at the wide receiver position? Dallas still stinks. Yo, but the way King Dingbat here. Breaking mother humping news. Quez Watkins has dropped his last ball for the Philadelphia Eagles. He will not be back. And this leads to a major question. Did the Eagles do enough at the wide receiver position so far? Have they upgraded, or is there more still to do? This is not a surprise that he is gone, but Quez Watkins is gone nonetheless. Here we go. Breaking news. Ari Marioff, if that's how you say it, he says, former Pound Eagles wide receiver Quez Watkins is signing with the Pound Steelers per source. The former 6th-round pick had 98 catches, 1,249 yards, and 6 touchdowns in his 4 years with the Eagles. And, here's my thought. I like Quez Watkins. I do. I actually like him. I had high hopes for him. And at the end of the day, we're talking about a 6th-round pick. A 6th-round pick who went out and made his mark at least a few years. They still had 98 catches, over 1,200 yards. Wish he could have done more. Wish he could have really blossomed into that slot wide receiver for us. I really like his speed. And you know what? He'll probably fit in really well with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know why, but for some reason, I keep thinking to myself that the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted him before. Didn't they not try to get him in the past or something like that? Could have sworn it. But nonetheless, Quez Watkins is gone. He will not be back for the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is going to lead to a major question when it comes to this team and the wide receiver position. And we're going to talk about it in a second. But before we do that, we have to celebrate a birthday. Today is Jerry Jones' birthday. He has turned 9,001 years old. Happy birthday, Jerry Jones. He is celebrating it, turning 9,002 years old. It's gotta be a big accomplishment. Even though it's his birthday and he's 9,003 years old, he still had time to go to the owner meetings this week. And I think it's absolutely hilarious. I don't know if you guys saw this, right? But I had to talk about it since his birthday. He's 9,004 years old. Jerry Jones is going to the owners' meetings. He's talking about how Dak Prescott is one of those guys that will eventually win the Super Bowl. I don't know what planet he's on. I don't know what planet Mark Holmes is on. I don't know what planet some of these Cowboy fans are on. I just never seen anything like it all the days I've been watching football. How can a guy be 8 years in the league, never get past the second round, never show up big in the playoffs, and it's not his fault? I mean, Mark Holmes is seriously, he has gone the last, I would say, few days. It's like every video is about Dak Prescott and sticking up for Dak Prescott. I mean, it should just, his whole channel should be the defending Dak show, because that's all he does. But Jerry Jones was talking about how Dak is going to win a Super Bowl, and he had this little, little notebook, and he looks like he is writing stuff in it. And when you zoom on it, this is hilarious. It looks like he's just drawing and writing jibber jabber. He absolutely has no idea where he's at, what day it is. He doesn't realize that he is 9,005 years old. And it absolutely looks like he's just doodling. The Dallas Cowboys are a joke. They're an absolute joke, and I absolutely love it. I really think that the Cowboys are going to take a giant step back this year. And I know people say, well, you say that every year about the Cowboys. But I mean, dude, it looks like time is of importance for the Cowboys, especially Jerry Jones being 9,006 years old. But I mean, this is a team that has done absolutely nothing in free agency, and all they do is try to make excuses for their quarterback. God, I love being an Eagle fan. God, I love watching my team go out and sign guys. It's so great. Now, as you guys know, Quez Watkins is gone. He is not going to be back with the Eagles. And this week we have the owners' meetings going on, right? So you have the whole owner meeting. I think Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, I believe they're both going to meet the press. I think later this afternoon. So it'll be interesting to see what Jeffrey Lurie has to say. He hasn't spoken since the Eagles' mega collapse, and it's going to be interesting what he does. Now, I know you guys probably seen this. The NFL has banned the hip drop tackle. The competition committee. This is just another disadvantage that the defense has against the offense. So I don't think they should have got rid of it. I don't like it, but it is what it is. And this just goes on to my whole philosophy about how you play defense in today's NFL. And the one advantage that you have, the one thing that you can do to negate an offense, no matter what kind of rules they pretty much pass to make the offense have the advantage, is you have to get to the quarterback. You have to pressure the quarterback. You have to be able to get to him. So, will the Eagles, at the end of the day, trade Haason Reddick? We've talked a lot about that. And really, I'm curious to see in the owners' meetings today, will the Eagles actually address this? Will Haason Reddick's name come up? And will they press Howie and the Eagles on what they're thinking when it comes to Haason Reddick? The interesting thing about these owner meetings, okay, especially because they always lead into the draft, this is often a time, like the scouting combine, where people start negotiating trades, start talking about trades. So something could start to work out in terms of a Haason Reddick trade or trading draft picks or whatever. A lot of times discussions start in these owner meetings. So keep an eye out on that. Now, as I was saying earlier, the big news this morning so far is that Quez Watkins is gone. And I think it's fair to ask, did the Eagles do enough so far to replace him? Yeah, he has struggled. He wasn't that good. But did they do enough to give themselves a viable, good third down wide receiver? I personally think Paris Campbell is an upgrade over Quez Watkins, but not by much. I wouldn't say by a whole lot, okay? But he's slightly. I think the Eagles really need to consider going into this draft, especially with one of those second-round picks, and taking a wide receiver early. I think a good, young slot receiver. Now, we could debate all day which wide receivers, and believe me, we are going to do a lot of that in the next coming weeks of what players at what positions are better than the other, my opinion on it. But right now, I think the Eagles need another wide receiver. I think that the area to do it isn't in free agency, but it's the draft. I think there's a lot of young, talented wide receivers in this draft. I think there will be a lot of good ones in the second round. And I think it's a great time to grab a guy and stick him in the slot and let him play. Like, I think Alad McConkey would be perfect in the slot for the Eagles. You just stick him in there and you play. Plug and play. Pause. But, I mean, seriously, like, if you go out, you draft him, and then you put him right there in the slot, and then you don't move him. To me, he's done. He stays there the next 4 or 5 years. If you want to go for Adonis Mitchell, right, I really like that kid a lot. I think he has size, he has speed. Legette's another one. There's a lot of guys. But you could also look at the wide receiver position like this. Well, we've got 2 second-round picks. We're going to use one of our second-round picks in a future starting wide receiver for us, because eventually, like I've said, with the money and how the cap is and stuff, it is a real question whether or not the Eagles go and extend Devontae Smith and then extend A.J. Brown again. Are they going to have 2 wide receivers making $25-30 million? I mean, what is what is the contract going to be when not only Devontae Smith gets an extension, but how much a receiver is going to be getting when A.J. Brown is up for a new contract? So there's a very good possibility that the Eagles are going to have to get another wide receiver in a few years. You could draft a guy in the second round, like maybe trade up in the second round, late first round, early second, and then turn around and take like a Mitchell, plug him in, let him play in the slot, but let him learn behind of Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and then when that day comes, and I don't want that day to come, but it will come eventually, where A.J. Brown might go, you have a guy in Mitchell that goes right out on the outside, and now you have Mitchell and Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is not going anywhere. Devontae Smith will be an Eagle. They will extend him. Now, I know a lot of people are nervous about his extension because it hasn't happened yet, but I think with the extra year, the option year that the Eagles have, they'll have plenty of time to work that contract out. The thing that they got to worry about in terms of the Eagles isn't whether they extend Devontae Smith. That's going to happen. But the longer it goes that he's not extended, the more wide receivers that sign contracts and extensions will only raise his price. And like I said, are the Eagles down the road going to pay two guys $25-30 million? So the way I see it is, if you take a wide receiver early in this draft, then you're basically killing two birds with one stone. You're getting a guy that can play in the slot this year, but you're also getting a guy that you can take and put outside the horrible day when A.J. Brown comes and may not be an Eagle. And I say that not in terms of wanting to get rid of A.J. Brown or thinking there's anything wrong. He is not getting traded. He will be there. A.J. Brown is a great Eagle, and I love having him. But the reality of the cap and of the money situation is, will the Eagles have two $30 million wide receivers or $25 million or whatever it is long term? I don't think they will. So you could get a receiver who can develop behind A.J. Brown, play in a slot, and play this year, and then maybe eventually move out. I think the Eagles should draft a wide receiver early. Now, if they want to just go with like a McConkey, somebody that's going to be in the slot for years to come, well, then that's okay too, because when A.J. Brown goes, you'll still have two viable receivers in Devontae Smith and McConkey, and you'll have to get yourself somebody on the outside. Hopefully they can figure a way to keep both those guys. That would be the dream case scenario. But just in case, I think it's a good idea to start maybe taking advantage that there's some decent wide receivers who will be around in a second that they can get and can basically fix two problems: the third wide receiver spot, and then the long-term answer if you lose A.J. Brown. So we will see. Hopefully I should be back later on today after we hear from Howie or at least hear from Jeffrey Lurie, hopefully, and we'll see. So should be interesting. I will definitely talk to you guys later. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. Beginning of the week, let's laugh at the Dallas Cowboys. Denzel Washington out.
Come on, guys.
2 minutes to go. You have plenty of time.
Come on.
Oh, shit! Dak! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off, it's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay!
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak!
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott!
Where
Trying to defend the CeeDee Lamb! Trying to defend the CeeDee Lamb! You trying to defend the CeeDee Lamb! You got to give it to CeeDee Lamb! God! It's over! It's over, Dak! Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. Yeah, do something. I feel like it's gonna take Jerry Jones taking. Cut it off. It's over.